Decay. Decay is a natural process in which dead organisms, trees, fruits, animals, are broken down into smaller inorganic materials, like carbon and nitrogen, that can be used by primary producers like plants and bacteria. Have you ever seen that Sid the Science Kid episode?
Decay! Decay! In nature it happens that way!
Well, this short documentary is going to be about composting. Composting is a waste reduction strategy that humans have developed to speed up that decaying process and to make a soil amendment that can be used in food production. Hi, my name is Tori Ardini and I'm a student at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I will be focusing on composting initiatives within the community. Personally, I love composting because every pound of food and landscape waste that is composted is not going into the landfill where it can produce methane, a powerful greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. This is how I approach composting as someone who lives off campus. So this is my house that I'm renting with some housemates, and my kitchen is right through that door, so I'm able to put my food scraps into this bin. And once the bin is starting to get a little full, I'll come down my stairs and I have a bigger compost container right there. I take the lid off and I add my compost. So this is what it looks like inside the bin. Kind of gross, but if I put my head in there and sniffed around, it wouldn't smell like anything because I know about carbon to nitrogen ratios and what I should be putting in the bin. Every now and then I like to aerate my compost by just using a stick. So I mix all of the straw and the kitchen scraps around. This is my finished compost that has come out of the process of my backyard. It is very dark and nutrient rich. Some people call it black gold. It's important for a garden because it releases nutrients very slowly for your plants. I'm very lucky to be able to compost in my backyard because there aren't many options for students living in dorms or even Champaign-Urbana residents living in apartments. Accessibility is made difficult because there is not a large-scale processing center in the area that takes food scraps. Not to diss the Landscape Recycling Center in Urbana, because they do a fantastic job recycling yard waste into mulch and compost that can be purchased, diverting over 100,000 cubic yards of waste per year.
Ultra fine hardwood. Acidifier. There's so many options for different mulches that you can get here.
I love to accompany my roommate Naomi in securing wood from the free pile. It's like a sketchy jungle gym for adults. We get a workout and wood for our bonfire and gardens at the same time. But that leaves the problem of food waste. A company that is trying to address this need is WasteNot, based out of Chicago. They recently set up a compost drop-off location at Lincoln Square Mall that residents can sign up for and use. Unfortunately, the site is not very visible. It's so hidden. I walked
like,
around
why can't we just have it in front? Like,
this is Ethan Anderson and Claire Young from Kingfisher Composting. You'll meet them later.
I'll make a poster that and give it to the co-op so they can put that out in front and be like, go this way, then take a left, and there's the bin.
It's like almost behind a wall.
Yeah.
I do hope that this drop-off site gets the publicity it deserves. WasteNot also manages compost collections at Bevier Cafe on the university's campus and at the Sustainability Living Learning community. As an eco-rep working through the Institute for Sustainability, Energy, and Environment, I have worked with WasteNot before to provide compost stations at university events like the Welcome Lunch. I hope to use this role to expand compost accessibility even more for students. Some student groups have taken composting into their own hands.
My name is Bruce. I'm the Land Stewardship Coordinator for Students for Environmental Concerns. So we're the oldest and largest environmental organization on campus. We have a lot of different working groups that work on a lot of different stuff. I run the garden group in particular. We maintain the Solidarity Gardens here at the Channing Murray Foundation. Solidarity Gardens is a network of gardens around the Champaign-Urbana area where all the food gets donated to local food pantries and homeless shelters. The Red Herring was a vegan restaurant that used to be here that is no longer in operation. So they used to run the garden and the composting operation. Everything kind of screamed to a halt and we're like, no, we should keep using this space to grow food and we should keep composting. The food scraps is just from like just members bring it. Our biggest challenge is everybody goes home for the summer, which is like the growing season. So we just have a rotating schedule of committed people who are here over the summer. I learned how to compost when I got here, and now I'm teaching other people how to compost.
That's so great.
And I didn't have any like formal training. It's just the upperclassmen taught me. Now I'm teaching the new people. We meet every Wednesday at 6:30. So just show up and be like, I want to garden, and I'll be like, awesome. Let's go outside and let's get in the dirt.
I also met with Kingfisher Composting, which is a group of a few very dedicated university students who want to make composting more accessible to young people.
Hi, my name is Clara Young. I am one of the co-founders of Kingfisher Composting, and what we do is that we are working with Yankee Ridge Elementary School to go ahead and bring like black soldier larvae composting to their 4th graders, where they put their food waste in there after their lunch period.
Can we put our plates in there? No, but anything that is food, you can put in there. These are going to be food for little larvae. They're going to get larvae. Larvae are baby bugs. They're going to eat that, and they're going to poop out stuff that is really good for our garden. We're going to put that stuff on the garden.
Educating children, especially when they're younger, is a really good way to help them build these habits that end up persisting throughout their adulthood. And then also when these children go back home, they end up talking about their experiences with their family, kind of having a ripple effect going out broader beyond just the school as well.
Any food can go in here. Perfect. Perfect, thank you. And everything else can go in the trash. So right now, we have just placed the bedding in our individual, glorified shoebox containers for the black soldier flies. So we just put some straw down. We're gonna put the food waste in next, and then we'll place our black soldier fly larvae in on top of that. The idea is that the black soldier fly larvae like to burrow, and so by putting everything down first and putting the larvae on top, they'll burrow down into the food scraps, into the bedding, and start to turn what was food waste from Yankee Ridge 4th grade lunch into frass, or fertilizer, compost.
Once the larvae start maturing, they'll start to slow down, and that's when the Kingfisher Composting team knows that they are ready to be removed before they fully turn into black soldier flies. At this point, they'll be fed to chickens that belong to some of the Yankee Ridge teachers and other community members. The second pillar of Kingfisher Composting is a bike-powered curbside pickup service.
I'm Ethan Anderson. This is my composting setup, nothing complicated, all DIY. I've used some old pallets that I salvaged to turn into these composting bins, as well as some extra chicken wire we had sitting around to put it together. Since last August, I've collected over 1,600 pounds of food scraps from my neighbors. So I made that, printed it at Siebel. Siebel has like a really nice large format printer.
This composting service started by Ethan putting flyers up on his neighbors' houses to gauge interest. He knows that people are busy, and he's happy to make composting more accessible. It's initiatives like these that add up to make a big difference. Despite the Champaign-Urbana area's distance from a large composting processing facility, students and community members have found creative ways to reduce landfill waste, improve food security, and teach young people to do the same. Concepts from this video can be applied to initiatives outside of composting as well, to make change from the ground up.